What's up, YouTube? Fat Kings Phil here for my week 32 update from vertical sleeve gastrectomy, which I had back in July of 2013. First off, let me start off before I forget. Sorry for the lack of comments on videos. This last week I haven't been watching many videos. I've been out of town, so I'm playing a little catch up. But even on the ones I have watched, I haven't commented. It's not that I'm not watching, I swear. So just wanted to get that out of the way. So I am back from New Orleans. Came back last night at about 10. I pulled in my garage at about 10 o'clock. I flew out of Denver, so it's another hour and 15, hour and 20 to get home. And then I threw my clothes in the laundry, got ready. By the time I was in bed, it was about 11:30, and that was it. Up for work today and out the door. So after 3 days of partaking in libations, I am far from sharp. But that being said, I am feeling pretty damn good, to be honest with you. And we're going to talk a little bit about that as we go through this. But let's get to the numbers because, well, before we get to the numbers, when last we spoke, I was shooting for 100 pounds lost total before I went to New Orleans. And Friday morning, I did make that goal. That was 232.0 even. That was 100.8 pounds total loss, which was great. But I also knew I was going to New Orleans. So I didn't know that. I figured that wasn't going to stick around. I am pretty sure Saturday morning I was probably 105 pounds because I was so dehydrated. But when I got back and got a chance to get rehydrated and I ate a bunch of nice, yummy, salty foods and things like that, all stuff on plan, but just saltier. This morning we came in with a different weight. So here we go. This morning, or rather, day of surgery was 332.8. And this morning was 334.4. I am not even the slightest bit concerned about that. I had a really different diet the last few days. And we'll talk a little bit about the kinds of foods I ate while I was out in a minute. But I am quite sure that by Friday I will be back down to the 232 mark. So that was 0.8 pounds gain this week. And it takes me back up to a total of 98.4 pounds lost. This is my concerned face. Ready? Yeah, I can't muster it. Sorry. So I'm not too worried about it, which is great. Right before I left, I did have to run over to the store and buy some more clothes. I just didn't have enough stuff to take. I ended up buying a pair of 36-30 Relaxed Fit Levi's because I can no longer buy Wranglers now that the ladies have ruined that for me. Now that I know that the Levi's are more preferred, but I got some 993s. I think is the model number, the make. A lot more comfortable than the 258s or 285s I bought last time. Although the 258s I've got now are 38s. They're kind of baggy and they're not doing it for me anymore. Oddly, the Wranglers still feel pretty good. There's one pair left of 38s, but I'm really into a 36 now. I really have to choke the belt down quite a bit. I also ended up cutting all that extra tail off my belt. It was just getting ridiculously long. It actually was touching the last loop in the middle of my back. Which goes to show there's where those other inches went from 38 to 36. So I would say that my 38 pants are probably too big overall now, but I'll keep wearing them because I'm not going to buy any more clothes till April, which will be shorts and things for Tampa. And for summer. So that's that. Let's go through the traveling experience, shall we? Okay. Let's start with the airline. Obviously, 737-300, which is an old 737. There's still a few of those in Southwest Fleet, and that's what we flew from Denver to New Orleans on. I had the window seat, which I normally don't pick. I don't really pick the aisle seat. My experience with the belt was it was all the way, practically the tail of the belt was all the way down almost to my knee when I sat down. I used to be able to sit in the seat with the belt extended all the way. I never needed an extender, but this I had plenty of room. So that was kind of nice. And the flight was, they're not luxury accommodations. It's still coach. And it's like, Southwest's version of coach, which is like being on a bus, but who cares? We got there. We had a good time. Had some drinks on the plane and had a good time. So it was easy. Sleeping arrangements in the hotel. There were 3 of us and 2 beds. My buddy John Roach, Roach, for those of you who know him, is his last name, but I know people know him as Roach. I call him John. Sometimes they call him Roach. Roach and I weigh exactly the same. Now, Roach is, TJ will attest, and Tanya can attest too. He's a far more strong specimen of a man than I am at that same weight. But it was kind of funny for us both to be the same weight for the first time ever in our lives. So he actually had wider shoulders on the plane than I did, which for first. But again, my shoulders are still pretty wide. So poor Troy got the middle seat. But he had plenty of room. I was actually surprised at him being pinned between the 2 of us. He was fine. So I think everybody had a good time there. And these are, my non-weight loss friends. So they were pretty shocked, when they saw me. They're like, holy shit, look at you. And then it didn't really become a big topic of discussion. It came up a couple times, like just commenting on why I couldn't do something, or hey, I know I can't have beer or whatever. But it wasn't a big deal. And then maybe well, how come, and whatever. But that was about it. So yeah, it was pretty good. And the sleeping arrangements, like I said, we just split it up. Normally, I think Troy and I ended up sharing a queen bed, and you could drive a truck between us. So that worked out all right. We'd let John have the other one. I don't know. It was his Marriott points that got the upgraded room, so we figured it'd be nice if he had his own thing. So that was cool. Man, all my clothes I took with me fit in my bag with room to spare. There's another thing that you don't think about. When your clothes are smaller, you don't have. I had my shoes, 3 or 4 pair of underwear, 3 or 4 pair of socks, 3 or 4 undershirts, 4 or 5 shirts. Some were button up, some were t-shirts. I just wasn't sure what I was going to need. A pair of jeans, toiletries, a sweatshirt, and I had room left in my bag to spare. There was plenty of room. Oh, and did I say shoes? Yeah, I took an extra pair of shoes, which I never do. But New Orleans, it can get a little nasty in the streets, and you don't want to be wearing those shoes home on the plane because they're stinky and they're gross. So normally I put them in a bag and then pack them back up in a plastic bag. And then I burn them or wash them when I get home. I've actually thrown shoes away in New Orleans because I'm like, forget it. I'm not taking those things home. So that all fit fine. I bought some souvenirs, put that in my bag, and my bag still had some room. So that was very cool. Wow. I didn't expect that NSV, if you will. What else? All my crap fit in one drawer at the hotel. That was also kind of cool. What else? Well, okay. I don't know even more about that stuff. So let's move on to some other stuff. So I bumped into Tanya and TJ and John and Jenny. First night we were there, we walked into Pat O'Brien's for our first hurricane, and they were there already drinking. So they had their drinking shoes on, and so we went and joined them. And we hung together pretty much most of the night for the early part of the night. And then somebody tapped out a little early, and there's no shame in that. It happens to the best of us. But we kind of set those guys into a cab and got them back out of downtown. And then we kind of went on. Me and my other friends went on until about 3 a.m. Next night we hooked up again. They'd been at the parade all day, kind of out all day. I think they were kind of burned out. My other friends wanted to go try some other stuff, check out some other places. So we kind of ended up splitting up again that night a little bit. And then Sunday, Tanya and TJ came out to make the video, so that was cool. But they didn't get to stay with us very long. So unfortunately, we didn't get to hang out as much as we wanted to, but we did get to hang out, which was nice. And it was cool because, when I saw Tanya, it was just like, I don't know, you think like, oh my God, this is the first time I've seen this person, but it didn't feel like that at all. It was just like, oh, there's Tanya. And, you're just hanging out. Like I just saw her last week because I saw her video last week, so it was like, there was no difference between Tanya in person and Tanya on her video. And, other than you could hug her, but, so that was kind of cool. We had a good time there. Just hanging out and chatting, and it just felt like old friends getting together again. You didn't really even think about it. It's weird. Did have some issues a few nights out where the friendly I think the friendly got taken as flirty. I forgot about that again. I was being rather friendly with some folks there, and I think they thought I was being flirty. I mean, no harm, no foul. But again, I kind of watched that while I was drinking, so I'll just say I wasn't even thinking about it, to be honest with you. The cool thing I will say about being with Jenny and John, as well as TJ and Tanya, was I did get a little bit of the plus one perspective because I got to talk to John and talk to Tanya quite a bit, and I'm not Tanya, sorry, John and Jenny. See, I said John immediately. I go Tanya, and then if I had said Jenny, I would have said TJ. But I got to talking to the plus ones, and just side conversations, and people are talking in a group, and you kind of break up every once in a while and have side conversations, and we were talking quite a bit, and it was enlightening to see the other side of the fence from the person's mouth. You know what I mean? I mean, Will does a great job of doing it in his videos, but it's kind of a more public format. I think just having somebody kind of tell you what they're thinking and how some of their struggles have been, or challenges. It gave me a little more perspective. I don't want to, I mean, I'm obviously not sharing stories or anything because it was private conversation, but it gave me some introspective kind of thinking to do. I thought that was kind of cool. So that's good. Again, no real big differences with my friends in the weight. It was just like old times. We've known each other since junior high school, so it was just like, bam, it just was another thing. We acknowledged it and moved on. And that was cool in another way, though, because when we would go, for me, it was just like old times. So when we went out to eat and stuff, like when we went out to have breakfast the next morning, I kept waking up early. So here's okay, sorry, all over the place. So we drank hard. Not to the point where I have blackouts or anything. I'm too much of a control freak for that. But we're professionals. We've done this before. So we the next morning I'd be wide awake by 8:30, and I'm talking stone sober, no hangover, feeling fine. Let's go. And they for other reasons they had stayed out really late the night before they even got there. Those guys wanted to sleep a little later, more toward noon. I don't blame them because we came in at 3:30 and they want to sleep till noon. But at 8 I was up. So I would get up, go downstairs. I'd take all my phone and my charger and all that stuff downstairs and go get a cup of coffee over at Starbucks, sit down in the lobby for a few hours. And as soon as I get online, there's Tanya and TJ wide awake, and they're having the same issues over at the other side. Like the spouses were down still. They were still out. So there's something about that smaller stomach not absorbing the alcohol, as much alcohol, or as being able to get too much in your system to where it takes your body longer to process it out. That makes for good sleeping. I slept fine, got up, ready to go. So it's like a superpower, as I said on Facebook. So it was weird. I have not had that much to drink in a long time, and I was a little worried about it. But when we get up and go eat, finally the guys that get up and go eat, and I, like I said, already had a cup of coffee and probably a Quest bar. But after a few hours later, okay, it's time to eat again. So we'd go out. I could order a cup of gumbo. I could get a like a chicken and sausage gumbo or a seafood gumbo. It's just a cup, and sit there and slowly eat it with them. And by the time I was done with that, I was good. And I'll tell you another thing that was really cool about this weekend for me, because it was so normal with them, and I wasn't in weight loss mode. I wasn't thinking about losing weight. I wasn't thinking about every little thing I ate in the way I normally would, or when, it's 10 o'clock, I got to eat something. It's 12 o'clock, I got to eat for my workout or whatever. I just ate when I felt like, oh yeah, I could go for a bite, and then I'd go and I'd just eat, and I'd eat slower because I was like, well, I didn't measure it, so I don't know how much it is. So I got to be careful and make sure that I don't eat too much because I don't want to get sick and ruin the rest of the day or the rest of the night. And I ended up, first few days, I only had I think the first day I had 630 calories for the day. So I looked at that on my FitnessPal. The night was kind of winding down and it was late. And they're like, you want to stop and get something to eat? I'm like, yeah, hell, I kind of have to. So we stopped, and I picked up a gyro and picked all the meat out of it and ate that, logged that in my FitnessPal. You guys can go check out my FitnessPal and see what I did there if you're interested. And that's what I ate. Now, I didn't log all the alcohol, but most of my drinks, with the exception of the Hurricanes, which I was surprised I could drink, they weren't sweet at all. They were pretty good. With the exception of those, was mainly Diet Coke and Captain Morgan. So there's some calories in Captain Morgan, I'm aware. But the Diet Coke was cut pretty light, so a lot of the fizz was out of it, and I was just sipping the whole night. So wasn't too worried about any bubbles from the soda either. But I stayed away from the beers. The guys had beers a lot. I didn't have that. Nothing really heavy duty bubbly. So I wasn't tracking every little thing. I wasn't worried about every little thing, and it showed me that, yep, at the end of this rainbow, when I hit my goal, I'm going to be able to maintain this weight just by being smart. Not going to have to measure every little thing. I'm not going to have to count every little calorie. I'll still log it. I know me, but I can sit down and have a bowl of something and know that I'm not going to overdo it. I'm not going to push past my point of no return. Yesterday, I tested that theory again because we were traveling. We traveled back through Austin. I was in Austin for about 3 hours at the airport, which is one of the best nightclubs in the whole country. If you can get stuck at a layover, Austin's a place to do it. We've landed in Austin, and there was a live band playing on the stage. Actually, it was a guy with a guitar, so a live performer. There's a bar there. We were done drinking, but they have Salt Lick Barbecue there, which is some of the best barbecue on the planet. And they have these nice little shops. And it's a big open air kind of place with huge windows, and it was nice and sunny. It was 70 degrees, and we sat there and listened to live music, and we ate beef brisket and sausage, and watched this band, and hung out, and then bought myself a Texas Longhorn shirt right there, and it wasn't like a big ripoff like an airport would be. It was like $20 for a t-shirt, but that's expected for sports, wear. And picked up some barbecue sauce to bring home for the kids and stuff. So, yeah, it was kind of cool. And then we flew out of there, and I came back to Denver, where it was 20 degrees and foggy, which was weird. It was one of the coldest nights I can remember in Denver, because it was, not only was it cold, it was wet. And so I had to walk all the way to my car and get my car, which was pretty far out in the economy lot. I didn't want to wait for the shuttle, and I just feeling antsy from sitting the whole time. So that's that. A lot of rambling here. Sorry, I'm going to go over my normal time. You guys feel free to stop anytime you want. But yeah, so that was good. So if I got any recommendations for you, if you're 6 months out, put together a little weekend getaway with your friends. I'm not saying I didn't pack Quest bars and perky jerky and stuff like that. I did. But go and try to just make some sensible choices in some sensible portion sizes, and give yourself a little break. I get it now, Max. If you're watching, I get what you were saying now. It made sense to me. And I know others have tried to say it, but Max came the closest to getting me to hear him, because I kept thinking when I realized this, I'm like, oh, Max was right. You had the surgery so you could do things that you couldn't do before. If you're 6 months out, you've lost enough weight where you can do some things. I'm not saying that I'm going to go change my whole way of eating like today now. I counted all my calories a day, ate my normal stuff at my normal times. I did my workout, which I was worried that I was not going to be able to perform that workout because I was feeling a little tore up this morning. But that was the best thing for me, because as soon as I got the sweat going and got some of this stuff out of my system, I felt a little sharper, a little cleaner. And it was a great workout. God, it was an ass kicker today. It felt good. I mean, it really did feel good too. We did a lot of walking while we were there. Don't get me wrong. I logged all that too. You'll see it. But it was just nice to get a good cardio workout in today and really get the heart rate up and keep it up for a while. So that was good. That was good. Okay. Actually, I guess I'm not going to go much longer. That's pretty much all I had to say. Oh yeah, one other thing I want you guys to think about too. I should have probably said this earlier. So if you have a week, back in the day, when you first had the surgery, okay, not when you first, but early in the surgery process, you would lose 2 pounds, and you get pretty excited about 2 pounds. If as long as it's consistent, say you're in your third, maybe you're like third month or even your second month, and it's just 2 pounds, 2 pounds, 2 pounds. Like, great, it's good. You lose 2 pounds now, you guys got to think, the closer you get to goal, if you're losing 2 pounds in a week, that's a higher percentage of your overall weight than when you lost that 2 pounds back in the day. So as your poundage lowers, as you get closer to goal, think about the percentage of your body weight. I think if you go back and do the math, you'll find that you are still losing about the same percentage of body weight each week, even although the number is smaller. So just something I thought about and I wanted to share with you guys. I thought that, that kind of gave me a little bit more of a like, oh yeah. So in that respect though, I put 2 point whatever pounds back on since Friday, only 0.8 pounds from last week. But, so I put on more percentage of body weight. We still got to factor in the whole water thing, but, you take the bad with the good, but just think about it. And, yeah, so cool. Some other stuff happened, out at the clubs that I'm still processing, the bars rather. Well, they're clubs and bars, but, I'm not ready to delve into that yet. I think I'm going to pull the Kirk card here and say, until I process this, I'm not really ready to share it all. Nothing bad, just things I noticed. So I have a great story, but no. I gotta wait. I gotta think about that a little bit. So anyway, okay, that's it for this week, guys. I'll see you on FatKings Friday, this Thursday, and we will talk more. And in the meantime, I will contemplate on this. I will contemplate this on the Tree of Woe and see if we share it. All right, guys. Talk to you later. Remember, it's good to be the king.